Welcome to another episode of Motivational Mondays with Dre and Smiley. Smiley, you got any motivational quotes for the week?
Yeah, I was reading something and I came across Winston Churchill, the
Oh
England
yeah,
dude, and he said, and I quote, "The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty." And it's almost back to your mind state. It's like, do you see a problem as an opportunity or a problem as an opportunity to grow or opportunity to learn something about yourself? Or do you see it as like, oh man, there's another burden, another rock on my back that's going to push me down? And so I like this because it's all a matter of perspective. Because as soon as I read this, it made me think of the cup. Has 50% in it. It's either half full or half empty. I see three cups, but some people see I see opportunities with that half a cup I have. But so it's all a matter of perspective. Some people attack problems because they're seeing it as opportunity to grow. Others look at problems as problems, and it's just like something that's a burden that's going to set them back
yeah.
and affect their mindset. So I like this. I like the way he stated it.
I do too, man. I do too. You know, as you share that, what comes to mind for me is, and I think it has a lot to do with how you're brought up, right? So some
Mm-hmm.
of us are brought up where, we've seen so many challenges and difficulties. Another one is simply just that, an opportunity for us to overcome it. Others haven't had that, haven't been as fortunate. And so when they're faced with a difficulty, they tend to have a pessimist view. Or I'm sorry, they tend to have a view of I can't overcome it. So I think, for this week as I go through this, I'm so glad you shared this quote. I'm going to be mindful of that, as an opportunity to take any challenges I face and learn from it and grow from it and realize that it's just that. It's an opportunity. Um, I have two kids here that I've tried to instill that in them as well, which is obviously, not an easy feat sometimes, but, you know, obst- obstacles, when they come along, we essentially have two options. And tell me what you think about this, Smiley. When an obstacle comes along, we essentially have two options. We can take an inordinate amount of time to talk about how large the difficulty is, how challenging it is, how I can't believe this opportunity is, this difficulty is here right now. And then once we've exhausted all those feelings and woe is me, tackle the opportunity. Or we can look at that challenge, that difficulty, and say, all right, let's dig in. Let's figure out how to get around this.
Mm-hmm.
My thought is the efficient approach is to say, all right, here's the difficulty here. Let's figure out a way around it. Um, some of your thoughts on that.
I think it's a great one. It's and it takes me back to when you're playing ball and you're like, man, it's five of us. We gotta play against these dudes. They're 6'2" is the shortest guy, and it's up to 6'9". You're like, all right, I gotta be a little faster. How am I gonna get around these big guys? Or what do I do? It's like you don't
Yeah,
look at it as it's an opportunity to try and embarrass the big guy. It's an opportunity to get over, but you don't look at it as a problem. It's like, man, that's a problem, man. I wish we had these 5'2" dudes versus these 6'7". But you look at it as an opportunity to test your skills. And every challenge is a part to grow. I think of the visual. It's there's an old story. I don't know if it's a Chinese proverb or anything. It was a caterpillar, and the caterpillar, it's in its shell, but once it gets to strength and breaks out of its cocoon, it can now be a butterfly and fly. Well, this little kid saw the caterpillar struggling and helped it out of its cocoon. Well, the caterpillar never became a butterfly because it never had the strength to fly. So sometimes the difficult challenge and the strength you get from that allows you to be something beautiful. like a butterfly. So embrace those challenges because it's going to help you grow and be stronger.
Yeah, and some challenges you have to experience. This is one quick story that comes to mind as you shared that one about the caterpillar. Some experiences can't be taught; they have to be experienced. I'll give you a quick story. There was a burglar whose son, he was like a world-renowned burglar, well respected in the burglar community, and his son admired his dad quite a bit and wanted to be just like him. He was like one of the best burglars ever. So his dad said, after being asked time and time again, I want to learn how you do what you do so I can be like you. So the burglar says, okay, son, tonight, midnight, get dressed, we're heading out. So they head out, they case their house, they find the ideal location, they crawl through the window, and they start, the burglar starts, going around the house and finding items, things like that. And the son is in awe, just like, wow, this is how it's done. All of a sudden you hear someone coming in the front door. And the son had gotten separated from his dad. So he's like, Dad, nothing. Dad couldn't be found. So the son's freaking out. So now he's hiding, trying to figure out how to get out of the house. And sure enough, he figures out how to get out of the house. He races back home. He's worried. He's like, oh, man, did my dad get caught? So he gets home. His dad's kicking back, eating a bag of chips. Hey, son, come on in. So the son's like, what, why'd you leave me? He said, son, he said, there's certain things I can't teach you. You just got to experience it, right? In terms of how to navigate situations like that,
Yeah.
So look at any challenge that you face. I'll conclude with this. Look at any challenge you face this week as an opportunity, and make it a great week.